Road. And you can start, Fred. Tell us all your good and bad things.
Well, we started off at the old house on Dean's Lane Road. They call it Dean's Lane Road, back here over the other side of the bridge, my grandfather's place. I lived there most of my life before I moved here. And we had 7 acres of ground, and we lived there with my sisters. I said seven sisters and myself, my brother. I was born in Brooklyn, and I came out of Brooklyn when I was a year old. We stayed with my grandparents. And my father was, he didn't take care of us too much, so my grandparents really took care of us.
Mm-hmm. And your mother?
And my mother also. Mm-hmm. She stayed there with us, and we worked on a farm there, raided a garden, had pigs, and we had chicken, we had a cow. And in the summertime, I used to work over at Freddie Dyker's and pick potatoes. And never got any money for it, but what we done was, my earnings, I used to take it out on potatoes. He used to give me, for working practically, well, I wasn't I was only a kid. He would give us 35 bags of potatoes. That would pay me for the whole year I helped him manure, help him clean the barns, you know, and on Saturdays, and on, when he was potatoes, I had to help him pick potatoes, you know. I helped him pick hay, pitch hay in the barn. Mm-hmm. I worked hard. I was only a kid.
How old were you then?
I was about 12 years old, 10, 12 years old. I worked there up until I was about 16, 15. Then my sister got married to Joe Spillator, and he got me involved with automobiles. Well, I forgot all about farm work then. I got involved with automobiles, and I liked it. And I went to work in the garage up there when I was 15. I didn't have no driver's license, and I worked nights for 2 years without a driver's license. Them days it was different, it ain't like today. George Spillator was a justice of peace. Fred Holson was a township cop. They used to bring cases in there for a motor vehicle case for speeding. They see me drive, they didn't think nothing of it because they thought I was pretty big, I guess. And the day I turned 17, I went to get my license, and the motor vehicle inspector said to me, "Freddie, what are you doing here?" I said, "Come for my license." "Your license?" He said, "You mean to tell me you've been riding around with no license?"
So he knew too.
Oh boy, he couldn't get over it. Oh, what a pinch that would have been. So I got my license, and I started to spread out a little bit. I had a little old car, a Ford, 33 Ford, and I drove to Saraville. That's where I met my wife. Mm-hmm. I started to sprout like a bird, you know.
Okay.
And she was outside with her girlfriend on the corner. It was snow. There was 3 girlfriends, the ground was full of snow, and they were standing on the corner. I stopped. I said, "You girls going down?" They all looked in the car and seen I was alone. They said, "Oh yeah, we're..." So they jumped in the car with us. First thing they do is they want to show me where they live. Each one took me to their house. Uh-huh. Well, I see my wife, and I said, "I think I'm going to go back and see her." I don't know if that's my sorry day, but I think it was my best day of my life. I went back to see her, and we kept in contact. Then I went steady with her, and we decided to get married. And we got married. I went with her for 2 years. One day we decided to run away to get married. We went to
Spuller's.
We went to Frank Spuller. He married us. And we went to Niagara Falls. We had $65 in our pocket. I had a pretty good old car there, and I said, "Let's go to Niagara Falls." She said, "Okay." So we went to Niagara Falls with $65. We stayed a whole week, and with the hotel and we come home, we had 5 cents left in our pocket. We stopped over Mrs. Ike's, a little restaurant on Route 1 there, and we want 2 cups of coffee, but I asked her, I only got a nickel. At that time, coffee was a nickel a cup. She said, Freddie, this is on me. So she gave us coffee in a bun, and we came home, and I took my wife to the old farmhouse. She come from the city where they had running water and bathroom in the house and all the convenience. And we had nothing back there. We had outhouse and lights, just a bulb in the ceiling hanging as a light, and outside water. So she went there, she was dumbfounded. She says, "This where you live?" I said, "Yeah, this is where I live." So I tell you, I gotta give her a lot of credit. She put up with it, with the old people there and my sisters. She got along with them, and the famous things on Italians, people on a dinner table, you eat whatever's in the garden. You got string beans, you eat string beans until they're gone. And if you had whatever vegetable you had in the garden, you eat that every day until it's all gone. And she got used to that after a while. My mother used to tell her, "You eat that or nothing." But she was a good sport. She got along with my mother and my grandmother. Then I went to work with the Spillatores. Well, I went to work when I was 15. Then I took they gave me a night job. I was working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. And for a young married man, that was a little too much. So we wasn't getting nowheres. And she said, "Freddie, you got to go out and find yourself a job and get out of there." So meanwhile, I got called to go into service. I went in the Navy, and she says, "I'll stay here with your mother with the 2 kids." And my mother said, she gave her privilege to stay there, or if she wanted to go home, she can do whatever she wants. She said, "No, I'm going to stay back here." And she did, and she raised her kids back there on the farm. She didn't have they didn't have no convenience. She used to wash clothes in the wash tub. And she done everything the hard way. But she was a great person that she done it. She stuck with it.
That's good.
And I admire that. So when I came home, I got working, back up to Spillatores again. I used to come home with greasy overalls, and she'd be out there washing. She said, "Freddie, can we get a washing machine?" And we didn't have 2 nickels rubbed together, so I said, "Well, I'm going to look around." I want to look around for a second-hand washing machine. I found one, the motor, and it had trouble with the wringer, so I bought it for $20, and I looked around for a motor, put a motor, and got it working. We had it outside and used to wash clothes, and boy, she felt big then. She said, "We got a washing machine now."
Outside, too.
And it was outside, and we done everything the hard way, but we enjoyed every bit of it, believe me. Now, I come out of the service, I come back in 1945. She says, "Freddie, we got to get out of here," because we're living in one room in my house there. And meanwhile, I had another child. We had 3 of them now, with one room, and in the wintertime, the ceilings used to sweat and there used to be water. My wife used to get a mop, a rag, and dry the ceiling because the water dripped. Because you had heat, you had the door open, and then we would close the door at night with a lot of humidity, and the ceilings would drip, 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 drip. So she said, "We got to get out of here. We got to find a place." I went looking around for homes. We'd seen some nice homes for $5,000. Beautiful homes. But we couldn't get a dime, a loan nowhere. Is $5,000 like $1 million to me today. So she seen this house here. My mother had this rented to a colored family. They lived downstairs, and they had chickens upstairs. There's a 2-story room. And they raised chickens upstairs, and they lived downstairs. It was the funniest thing, And she said, "Freddie, let's buy that house." I said, "You gotta be crazy. Get out of here." She said, "No, let's buy that. Your mother wants to sell it. Let's buy it." Because they wasn't paying rent. The people was in it. So my mother said, "If you want that house, fix it up for yourself live in there, and when you feel like you want to pay me, you... My wife said, no, no, we want to buy it now. Something ever happened to your mom, we'd have a problem with the family, we want to pay you for it, we want it in writing. She was smart, so my mother did that, and we paid her $50 when we had some money. We paid a little at a time. Meanwhile, we stripped the house down, we ripped all the walls out, we made it livable for 2 rooms. 1 room upstairs, 1 room downstairs. No, 2 rooms upstairs, a bedroom from us and for the kids. And we had a kitchen. A living room we didn't do nothing with because we didn't have the money to finish it. Her uncle come down and helped us a little bit with putting sheetrock up and patching up here and there. We painted it. We made it livable. And she was so proud that she's got her own place. We struggled there for a while. Then I got the oil heat. We had to buy a stove. When I come out of service, I had $700 that she saved up. And I said, how far can we go for $700? We got to buy a refrigerator, stove, and all the utilities. How are we going to do it? She said, no, everybody will help us. Our families will help us. Let's do it. So she encouraged me. So I said, oh, okay, we'll do it. And we did. And we made out. We made out. It took us a while, but we made out. Then we moved in here, and little by little we kept improving the place. We jacked it up, put a new cellar floor, put a new side wall in it, and till then we bought this piece of ground next door to us. Mr. Shue, he was a great guy. When we first moved here, we only had a half-acre of land there, and Mr. Shue said to Fred, there's a piece of property right next to you, it's going on for sale. If
We
you
can stop
want
if
it.
you want.
Okay. You want to go back to the Navy?
Yeah. Go back to...
I went into service in 1945. No, I came out in 45.
Were you drafted, Fred?
Pardon?
Were you drafted? Or did you...
I was working in a... No, I was drafted because I had 2 children when I got drafted.
Right, so
Let me
that's
tell you
when...
this story. I was working in Carteret in the service department for the Army, where we shipped the vehicles overseas. So, that's a lot of ride. It's a long ride back and forth at them days, and I had an old jalopy, and I had 2 children, and I said to him, I went to the lieutenant, I said, you know, I got to get a little bit more money. I said, you know, I'm traveling so far. And he was one of these 90-day wander officers, you know, in the beginning of the war, they had 90-day wanderers. And he said to me, what do you mean you want to raid? What about the boys overseas? I said, well, I'm not overseas, I'm over here. And he says, well, I'm sorry. So I went over his head and see the captain, and the captain gave me the same story. I said, well, I guess I'll have to quit. I used harsh words, more worse than that. He says, you quit and I'll have your butt in the service. I said, you ain't man enough. And I walked out and I quit. 3 days I got a notice from the draft board, go to Newark. And he did. So I never told my wife that until time afterwards. And she never knew.
That's who they were drafting at that time. They were, the people were not enlisting because there wasn't anybody to enlist. So they had to start drafting the people that had children. So that's, probably your number was up, Fred.
Yeah, I was working in the Kingston Trap Rock. That was a defense job, they called. And boy, working up Kingston Trap Rock, I working nights. And I didn't like, I used to have to ride all the way to Fort Dix because they were doing a lot of construction work in Fort Dix. And there was a lot of time you travel on your own, you're not getting paid. So I says, oh boy. And then they went to Service Command in New Brunswick. There was a shop there where they were rebuilding Army trucks. I worked there for a while. And there was a guy in there, him and I didn't see eye to eye, and he didn't like, I guess, Italians, what it was, but he always picked on me. I was a young boy picking on me. So we had it out, and I quit. Then I went to Service Command in Carteret. That was quite a ride. That was a good job, but all I wanted, a little bit more money, you know. then they made you take out bonds. What, on top of everything, they made you had to buy a bond. I can't, I'm strapped. But I had to take bonds out. So I went around with him and I finally got back. He said, I'll get your butt in the service, so it's okay. So I went into service. So I came out. I don't regret it because I enjoyed in the service when I was. I learned a lot, and it was a good experience. And I was fortunate that I was home within 3 months, the longest time I've been away, and I was always seeing my family within 3 months, either New York, Norfolk, or Boston. So it was good.
What'd you do on the ship?
I was a water tender. I was a fireman at the beginning, and when I was striking for a water tender, but by that time I got discharged.
And the ship did convoy duty?
Yeah, we were running convoy duty from New York or wherever we were on the East Coast here. And then we went we went with the killer group with the destroyers, the submarine killer group.
Anti-submarine, ASW warfare.
Yeah, we left the convoys, and then we went after, because they were sinking a lot of ships. People don't realize how many ships we got sunk off the East Coast here. And all the way from Florida to New York, Nova Scotia, you can't believe the amount of shipping that was sunk.
So you can't, you just...
Right off of Asbury Park, you could see the lights. The
right
submarines
off the coastline.
could shoot the ships because they went through the lights of Asbury Park. They could hit them real easy.
And these submarines were just off and watching our coastline when these ships come out. When they get out, boom, torpedo them. You can't believe. Remember years ago during the war, they were saying,
loose slips.
Yeah, loose slips
Sink
the
ships.
ship. And that is the truth. Believe me. I didn't believe it until I went in the service. That is the truth. So I was fortunate, and then my ship went into Houston for repairs. We were supposed to go to the Pacific when the war ended here. And when it got into Houston, they come out with this discharge on points. So P.D. and I had so many children. I had three children at that time, and I got out. I was on the first wave to get out. And
Tell me you were on Reuben James.
yeah, I was on the Reuben James. Yeah, on the Reuben James, destroyer, DE escort, and it was a good ship. We had
Trim but deadly.
yeah.
Do you have reunions, Fred?
Yeah, we have a reunion every year. Last year we had it in where was it last year?
We were New Orleans.
New Orleans.
California. We've been going all over.
Every year they have a different point. Next year we're having it in Boston, where the ship was berthed. The berth was built in Boston, so we're going to have a reunion there. And each year, though, we're getting less and less fellas. We just lost one of our members, a young guy too. He's younger than I was. His wife called me up last week that he had cancer and passed away. But he was fortunate he didn't only last about a week, and he didn't suffer long. You know?
They're getting less because there's no more destroyer escorts.
Yeah, there's no more, right? There's no more. That was the last of the Mohican. We have another destroyer. It ain't a destroyer. They call them frigates.
Yeah.
And the new Reuben James, there's a frigate. They named it Reuben James. We went to California, one of our conventions, reunions rather, and we were on it. And the skipper, he was a great guy. And we invited him to our hotel. Him and his wife. He talked to his old timers there, and for up until about 1 o'clock in the morning, and discussing about the new ships and this and that and the other. We really enjoyed it. He was a great guy, and he said anytime he's getting to California or Hawaii, they shipped him to Hawaii. Now he's working out of Hawaii. You're welcome to come aboard. So we have an invitation, a standing invitation.
There's some ships, aren't they, those fast frigates? Oh.
Yeah. And
unbelievable.
Air conditioning and everything.
Air conditioning, tablecloths on the table. I said, why you guys? You can't be. This ain't real. And you know, Tony, what I couldn't get over, the length of that ship, he could be going full speed forward and puts that in reverse, vibrate a little bit, but that ship will go back, and the length of that ship should be going backwards.
It's unbelievable.
Airplane
We could never do that on
engines.
these we were on.
Airplane
Unbelievable.
engine?
Huh?
An airplane engine?
Airplane engines in them, gas in them, like they do with the planes. Unbelievable.
You could be standing still, and in what, 30
Yep.
seconds she's gone. I'm
Yep.
telling you.
It's unbelievable. The difference today and what they were
When we were in,
years
yeah.
ago. Yeah. And we really enjoyed it. We was on it the whole day, and he took us through the whole ship. I said, oh my God, these firemen down here, they got, hey, your white clothes, they don't even get dirty. The funny part is there was a color board there. I got to tell you this. The funny part was one of our guys said to him, "Where's this the Snipes? Not the Snipes, the black gang. Where's the black gang go?" And this color guy looked up. He was a sailor there. He looked up. He says, "Oh," he says, "don't you know what the black gang is? The guys that work below deck." He says, "That's the black gang." Then the color guy laughed and he smiled, but he thought we were talking about colored people.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what they
were
called
called.
us.
The Snipes are the black
Snipes
gang
are the black
because of the
gang.
oil on the ships.
That's what they called us because we were down below deck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that was really funny.
So you came back to Monmouth Junction and
Then we come back to Mama Junction, and that's when we bought this house, and we've been working ever since trying to get it straightened out. We got it pretty well straightened out. One more thing I have to tell you, it was I think it was 31. You remember that train wreck? It was about 31 to 33, somewhere
That was
in
before
there.
my
in
time.
the 30s. I almost got killed in that wreck. Let me tell you how. Francis O'Hagan, I don't know if you remember, Francis O'Hagan, he lived in a company farm. There was a farm up there they called the company farm. His father used to log wood out of the woods, logger. He was a logger, and the mother was a hell of a nice person. And he had 2 sons. They used to come over to my grandparents' place, and we used to play. Well, they were bigger. I was only about 12 years old. And one night in the summertime, we was playing hang-go-seek. Him and his brother was it, and Francis would say to me, "Come on." He was the older one. "Come on, we'll go down the high. He'll never find us." So we go down along the railroad track, down to Little John's house. Then we cross the track. We went across the track into the woods. They were going to come up, see? And he said, he'll never find us here. He said, "Well, we heard this train coming around the bend here. Steam engines they had them, they, you know how they just puff and puff and puff." He said, "Let's run across before that freight gets by here. We want to make it across."
playing chicken.
So he held my hand, and we go across the road, across the tracks. And you know what? When that train, the end of that freight went through, a couple of cars jumped the track, and this fast engine, passenger train, alongside of it, turned over, went down the bank, caught one of them poles, wrapped the pole right around the engine. The engineer got killed, and a lot of people got hurt. And that's exactly where we were. And I said to myself, I always think that, even today. I said, I wonder if we stayed there, where we'd be, if they would ever found us.
Down,
Yeah,
Fred.
I wonder if they ever found us. The good Lord watching over us. And my mother would never know, because she knew I would run across the track, she would whip me. So it was something to
Well,
do.
the traffic was heavy traffic on the railroads at that time.
Yeah.
Passenger and freight.
Passenger and freight, yeah.
And fast.
And they were carrying coal. They had a lot of coal cars in them. They were carrying coal from Virginia and up, going north. You always had them coal. And them old engine, them big engine, they had double engine. You hear them coming.
Puffing all over your wash, right? That's
Yeah,
your
and
wash dirty.
When the smoke would come over, oh, my mother would holler. Yeah.
Get all that soot.
Right. That was another memorable day.
Well, Fred, you met my husband along the way, and you were working for the union then, right?
Yeah, I went to work. I looked around. She got me out of this spilatory bunch. She said, "You'll never get nowhere working for your family." So she kept constantly on me, "Get out of there, get out of there." So I said, all right. I bummed for 2 years up the gas station where the Joe Oliver, the Esso station over next to the county workhouse years ago. It was Tommy Dennison's station, but Joe, their trucks used to stop and gas up before they built the turnpike, and they would fuel up and he would give them a break on the gas, and they had bunks in the back where the drivers could sleep. And I used to fix their tires and whatever I could pick up. And Joe was a great guy. He said to me, Freddie, whatever you pick up, whatever you make is yours. You know, he's until you find something. I'd done that for 2 years, and now they start to build a turnpike, and we had fellas that were working on a turnpike that I worked on their car. One of the guys broke down. One of the shop stewards, matter of fact, he broke down, and he took a liking to me, and I fixed his car, and he was so happy that he says, Freddie, what the heck are you doing here? Why don't you go out and get yourself a good job? I said, hey, how could I get a job? I'm still hunting. He says, come down there in Cranberry. At that time it was in Heightstown. They had on 33. He says, come down there and show up. He says, I'll get you a truck driver's job for time being. Well, I said, all right. So I went there at 5 o'clock in the morning, 2 mornings in a row. Well, they didn't need nobody, and I got discouraged. I said, hell. I was just like everything else. And I come home, and the next Wednesday I seen him again, because he used to come down once a week on a Wednesday night. Where the hell was you this morning? We were looking for... He said, we put on a driver, you weren't there. I said, I was there Monday and Tuesday. He said, you gotta go every day. Okay. So I went back again, and I got a job driving a truck. I'll never forget this as long as I live. I came home with a check. We worked a lot of hours. I was hauling stone from Bomba Quarry, Kingston Quarry, wherever they send you, and then delivered to the turnpike, you know. And I come home with a check, I think it was $200, $200 and some dollars. Well, my kids went berserk. The first thing they said, Dad, you know, they were going to high school, Virginia was, they wanted a high school sweater, a blue sweater with the white ribbon, arm banded. Mom, we're going to have that sweater because all the kids got it. So we went down and bought 3 sweaters. Boy, you couldn't give those kids anything, because they were so happy about that. Well, and after the second week, looking for a car, and I worked there for about 2 months, and they need a man, a mechanic, and the fellow come out to me, the shop steward said, are you a mechanic? I said, yeah. He said, you got tools? I said, yeah. He said, bring them in Monday morning, come and work in the Cranberry shop, where Brewster had a shop there. I said, okay. So I went there and got a job. I worked there until they completed the turnpike. Matter of fact, I got in the union. That's how I got in the union. And going back to our second check I got, my kid said, Dad, we want to buy a car now. We got kind of... So we go to Bombrook, we put a deposit on a car. I think we put a $100 deposit. And the guy was skinning me. It wasn't a dealer, it was a used car lot. And he was selling me a new car, but a used car lot. So I went to Dietz Motors in New Brunswick on George Street. I went to see that guy, and I said, you know, his setup, what kind of, how much is it for this car, so. He said to me, Freddie, where the hell do you get that price? He said, you're overpaying. He said, I'll sell you that thing $500 cheaper. Holy God, I said, I gave the guy $100. Now, we got to go back and get our money. So we go back up there, and I said to the guy, hey, we went with that old jalopy we had. I said, you know what? I can't afford a car. I went over and gave him a sob story. He looked out and seen the kids in the car and my wife. Yeah, okay, he says, but when you get some money, come back. He gave me the $100 back. With that $100, we went back to Dietz in New Brunswick, gave him the deposit, we bought a car. 1952 Pontiac, was it? 52 Pontiac. And that's how we started. And then from then on, I kept working, going with the union from job to job. I got along good with everybody, and I went to Cape May. I worked in Cape May for 2 years. I brought my wife down there. She spent the summer down there for 3 months with her and the kids. at the beach, and I was renting a little place there, and the lady was real nice. So, and after that job ended, I continued from other jobs from one place to another. I always worked away from home. That's why I don't know half of the people around South Brunswick. I don't know half of them. Then I got on this AT&T job. That was my last big job, where I met Mike Burdick. He was down there. He was a foreman with this contractor, a subcontractor, and we got along good together. We chewed a lot of fat together, and that was a good job. I was there 5 years, made some good money. And there was times I was working 7 days a week. I never turned down, if they tell me to come in a Sunday, a Saturday, a holiday, anything, I never said no. I always worked when I was supposed to work. So I got along good with my employees and my employer. And if I was young enough, I could go out today and get a job anywhere, because I never had any problem with none of my employers. But when we built this house, after I finished AT&T, I decided, my wife, I was going to fix that old garage there and make a room in it. I said, for a retirement home. I said, when I retire, I'm going to have something small. Well, I went to my daughters raised hell about it. Dad, why do you want to do that for? So I went to the township, the building inspector, and one of the inspectors, the inspector, he come down, he says, I showed him where I wanted to build a house. He said to me, what the hell do you want to build a house over there for? He says, you can't. You can't remodel that garage because you don't have no footing. Blah, blah. He said, I'll never pass it. He said, you got a lot of ground. Why don't you put a house in the back there? And then he says, when you want to sell it, you got something. You got over there, you got a garage. I said, yeah, you're right. So little by little, I decided, okay, I'll clear it off. So I cleared it off, and I worked here for 3 years. I done everything myself but the foundation. I had to give that out. The concrete work I gave out. But the rest of the house, the electric, the water, the heat, I done all myself. And it all passed, inspection and everything.
It's a beautiful house.
And I'm proud about that. You know, I put the heat in. I have a wood furnace, a wood fire furnace. When I first got the house done, the oil was so high, and they were all talking about the price of oil, and I said, geez, I got a lot of wood here. I ought to put an oil stove furnace. So I bought an oil furnace. We used it for 3 years doing when the height of the oil, and we burned 100 gallons of oil in 3 years because we had to fire
And the wood
furnace.
Yeah.
And it helped us a lot. So now we don't use it no more because we converted to gas, and it's got its good and it's got its bad features.
Do you miss that? Do you miss that heat? The wood burning heat?
No, not really, because if we want to smell the heat.
Yeah, but doesn't it? It's a warmer heat from the
Yes.
wood.
Oh, yeah.
I do that in my house,
yeah.
and the floors stay warm, and it's just a more comfortable heat.
Yeah, yeah. And I had that, and then we kept the temperature up at about 80. This house was always hot.
Yeah.
It was great, I'll tell you. So,
But you worked on some very big jobs, didn't you?
yes, I done some good. I worked on the turnpike. I worked on for AT&T when they put that there Baskin Ridge job. That was a big job, 5 years. And I worked in Trenton where they built a freeway in Trenton with Brewster.
Big company.
A good company, right. And I worked with S.J. Groves for 8 years when they built a 7-force in Perth Amboy, when they put part of that bridge. And they had, what the hell was it? They put the 78, and I don't remember numbers now. They're really messing me up.
278 or what is it?
287.
287.
Where it all comes together, yeah. And they put that big interchange there, and I had some good companies. I really worked. I got along good with all the companies. Never got fired or none of them. They were all satisfied with my work, and I done a good job.
You repaired the large equipment.
I used to take care of all the heavy equipment. like this pans and scrapers, shovels and bulldozers. And there was some jobs I was all by myself. When I see you under the tree sitting down a hot summer day, he said, I know everything is working. He said, I'd like to see you. He said, sit under that tree. Because anytime something broke down, my job was to get it running. That's where he makes his money.
Right.
When he makes his money, he's happy, I'm happy. I can sit under the tree, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're happy traveling.
Now we're traveling. We went to Australia a couple of years ago. 3 years ago?
Yeah.
We went to Australia for 3 weeks. We really enjoyed that.
That was out of Florida with the church, or?
No.
No,
We went with
we
Colette.
went to Coletti from Connecticut, a group from Connecticut. There was 12 of us, and it was a wonderful trip. I said before I die, I want to go down under. And I tell you, it was worth the trip. On our way home, we stopped to Fuji Island, Fiji, and we stayed there 2 days. But there was, it's poor. That island is poor, very poor. They have nice hotels there, but accommodation. But the island is, people are poor there. And we stopped on the way down to Hawaii, stayed overnight, rest, and then took off from there. So the trip was great. And then we went to from Australia to, what's that other place?
New Zealand.
New Zealand. A lot of sheep in New Zealand. My God, I never seen so much sheep. Time you look out the field, it's all you see is sheep. And it was really nice country. Really nice country. Then we went to China before that with the trip of a group from Florida that they call Friendship Group. It was in the paper. They're looking for people that want to take a trip. So my neighbor and I says, hey, let's go, Freddie. And it was reasonable. And I'm telling you, it was a nice trip. It was 14 days. Beautiful trip. And the Chinese people, they treat us great. And I really loved it. The hotels and motels down there, all American. Holiday Inn or Ramada, and all of them, it's all American. And they give you American breakfast there. And in lunches you have Chinese food. But the funny thing is, we had tea every meal. And guess what kind of tea we had? White rose tea with a tea bag. Right, Em?
That's right.
White rose tea. I said, oh my God, look at it. Come all the way to China to get white rose tea.
Or Lipton, either
Oh,
one.
Lipton, yeah. And they're getting more modern. They're building a lot of high-rise apartments. These Chinese are there. They're making for the people. And there are a lot of bicycles. You've never seen so many bicycles in your life. Like we have in New York cars, there are bicycles. You don't see no cars, bicycles. In the morning when they're going to work, the traffic jam with bicycles. I look out the hotel window and look, I say, oh my God, I can't believe it. Yeah, so that was an enjoyable trip too. Then we went, before that, we took a trip with a group from Pittsburgh to Italy. We took the northern trip of Italy, started in Rome. We went up north of Italy to Florence and help me out.
Well, we went all the way down to Sicily.
Yeah, but that was the second time around. The first time we went up north,
Rome,
and then Florence, and that other where the water is. What they call that town?
Venice.
Capri and
Venice.
Venice. So that was nice. We went with a group from Pennsylvania, a church group. And we had some fun. The second trip was better than the first trip because the second trip we went with a priest from Pittsburgh. He took us. He was the leader. And every night we had wine parties, different hotels. He was from Rome, and he knew where to go and where to take us. And I'm telling you, I took my 3 daughters with me because we had few extra bucks, I said to my wife, my kids will never make it over there. And I said, I want to take them down. I can't take the grandparents are from. And you know what? My one daughter went there twice already. She loves Italy. And
Now, where was that?
and
Where were
Rome.
Your grandparents were from?
My father's side, he was from
Napleton?
Naples. And my grandfather come from a little town between Naples and Rome. I can't think of the name right offhand right now, but not Salerno. It's a little bird. And all my grandparents, my grandmother come from there, and
Was it Abilene? Abelino?
uh,
That's one of those little towns, and that's where I think my grandfather came from, that area. Or my
I
grandmother.
I don't remember his name. Boy, you know, it's hard for me to remember. Well, anyhow, my kids enjoyed it so much. And this priest was from Rome originally, and he took us to a party every night, a wine party. Wine and dancing and music. We had a ball. We went to Sicily, and we went down with a bus. We stopped in different towns on the way down. Then when we got to Sicily, we flew back to Rome, and we stayed 2 more nights in Rome, then we flew home. But that was a great trip.
See the Vatican?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we went to the Vatican, and my wife shook hands to the Pope.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which pope was that?
And this here
It
was
was
Pope John, yeah.
John Paul.
He was coming up the aisle, and he was grabbing the hand, and she said, I gotta touch his hand.
That was
So,
great.
and the mob, oh, you see the mob, they're on top of us and everything, trying to reach him, but she said, ain't nobody gonna move me because I'm gonna stay here. So she reached out and touched his hand, so she felt good about that.
But he got so old.
Yes.
Yeah.
See that on TV?
And my kids talk about it today. They said, boy, Dad, that was the best trip. That was the best thing you ever done to us. You know, I figured that would be something worthwhile. You know,
No one can ever take it away from them.
that's something they can't write. Right. And my one little granddaughter went with her, and she's in college age. She enjoyed it, but I didn't pay her way. I said to my daughter, if you want to take her, you take her, but you got to pay her way because it ain't fair for my other grandkids, you know.
Right, right. What's fair for one is fair for all.
What's
Right.
good for one is good for the other. So she said, all right, Dad, I'll pay for her. Okay. So she took her, and she was really happy. And we had a nice trip. And that's about it as far as traveling. I think now we're going to stay put for a while.
You have a place down in Florida too, you stay? Or?
I have a home down in New Smyrna Beach. When I had my trailer, I've been going to New Smyrna for about 22 years, 25 years. My friend I met that used to come up north and work for the summer, then he would go home in the winter, and he said to me, come on, stop down in New Smyrna. Come on, stop down. So one day we was going to, we used to go down in Miami and down below, so he said, stop in New Smyrna. So we stopped, and we liked it. It's a nice town. It's nothing fancy. It's just a good old boys. So we liked it, and we was going there from then on. So I had my trailer. I decided to sell my trailer because the gas was getting tight. You had to have a big car. You remember for a while there, they were making no more big cars, little cars. And I had a 31-foot trailer, and you couldn't do a good job pulling with a little car. And I didn't want to buy a pickup. So my wife said, we ought to get rid of the trailer. We had it 10 years. We went out west with it. We went to Yellowstone Park. We went to California. We went to Seattle, Canada. Wonderful. We had a wonderful time with it. Matter of fact, I took a trip, 30 days with the trailer, all the way into Canada. We went to Jersey side, to the Rockies, and came back on the Canadian side. And we really enjoyed it. So I said, we've seen most of the country that we want to see with that. Now we got to get rid of it because gas is getting expensive, plus you got to have a big car. So I decided to sell it. Meanwhile, I stopped in New Smyrna and buy fruit. I've been buying fruit off this one stand. I got to know the guy pretty good, and I used to tell him, Bill, when you find me a house down here, let me know, something reasonable. I want to buy a house. So I was going north. We stopped and bought fruit, and I asked him again this time. He says, Freddie, there's one right next door to me. There's a little bungalow. I don't know what they want for it, but there's a little card on the window. Stop and see what you can get it for. See, read about it. He said, I never, don't know who's handling it. So we did. He gave us the address. We went down there and stopped. And there was a phone number, and I called there was a lawyer. So I called the lawyer. I says, I'd like to see this house on Falcon Street. He said, well, I can't show it to you now because I got to go to court. He says, I'm late. And I said, well, then forget it because I'm going back up north and I'm just going through. And I says, if I can't see it, forget it because I'll be in Jersey tomorrow. I'm heading for Jersey. So he said, well, how far are you now? I said, I'm right around the corner in the gas station. He said, well, can you be there in 5 minutes? I said, yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes. So he come out, and we walked in the house, he opened the door, and there was a refrigerator, washer, dryer, everything. All you had to do was just move in. Dishes were in the closet, linen in the drawers, new towels in the drawers. So I said, what the hell, what do you get with this house? He said, what you see is what you get. So I couldn't get over it. I said, wow. So I says, what's the price? Well, he says, 57,000, or 47,000. I said, wow. Well, you gotta holler, wow. So he said, well, whatever you get it for, it's your business, because I'm just settling the mother's estate. I said, okay. He gave me the phone number, call the man up, he says, you do some talking, whatever you want to do. I got home, I said to my wife, I ought to give that guy a call and give him a bid. So I called him up. I says, I was looking at your mom's place in Florida. I want to give you a bid on it. You're a little too high. He's all right. What do you bid on it? I says,
36.
36,000. Wow, you're low, ain't you? Hey, you know, I'm going to court what I could offer you. Now you take it from there. He said, let me talk to my family. I want my boy to have it. And if he don't have it, if he don't want it, he says, I'll call you back. Give me your phone number. I'll call you back in a couple of weeks. Well, 2 weeks go by and he called me. Well, I forgot all about it. I forgot all about the house. You know, I didn't think he would ever call. And the guy gets on the phone. I was in the garage and the guys told me who he was, name. The name didn't ring the bell. And I was saying, who the hell is this guy? I was about to hang up and he said, the house in Florida. Oh, okay. He said, are you ready to do some horse trading? Yeah. I said, let's do some talking. Well, we wiggle and talk back and forth. I got it for
39.5.
I want to give him 39. He said, no, you got to get, we split it from 39 to 40. So I said, all right, we'll split that. He said, you got to have the money, you got to have a deposit for the lawyer so we can start working on it. I said, okay, I'll send him a deposit. I sent him a deposit. And we enjoyed it. I tell you, I done a little work on the house. And I could double my money right now because everybody likes it. It's a little place. I've done a little, it's only 2-bedroom deal, but I put a spa in it and I put another bathroom in it. And now it's got 3 bathrooms and we've added a screen room in the back. I put some fruit trees in the back and we built it up a little bit. And it's a nice area. It's a nice area and it's the nicest street in New Smyrna. And all we have is doctors and lawyers that used to live on that street. But now they moved out and they got in these condos, but that's used to live. It's right next to the Indian River. I can see the water from where my house is.
Is that near Canaveral?
No, it's below further north.
Okay.
It's 20 miles south of Daytona.
Okay.
And we have a beach there. You can drive on the beach just like Daytona Beach.
You go to the races?
We got a beautiful beach. Yeah.
Did you go over to the Daytona races?
Oh yeah, I've been to the Daytona races one time. I don't care for them. You know, the biggest excitement is about Daytona is when they have the accidents. If they don't have no accidents, they'll race. And so, I don't want to go see them poor devils get, you know, you see those cars run around in circles. And you could, and for the price they get for them today, oh my God. You go on television, you can see just as much. So we bought the house, and we did a little work on it, and right now we enjoy it. People Now, there was a nurse, she was taking care of this man's wife. He had 2 nurses there. And he used to buy the food and everything. They lived right in the house. They wanted to buy the house. They offered him 45 for it. He wouldn't sell it. He told me this after I bought it, because when we met, he told me to come back. When I went to Florida to sign the papers, he was there, and he said, I wouldn't, you know what he told me? I wouldn't sell it to no
Don't cuss. Don't cuss.
no SOB in Florida, because they robbed my mother blind. She had antiques to glory. She was an antique, she always saved antiques. He showed me pictures of antiques in the house. There had nothing left. They clipped her. So he says, who I got to blame is the 2 nurses. So he says, they wanted to buy the house. I wouldn't sell it to him. So I was fortunate. I stepped in at the right time.
Right.
You know? And being he was in that kind of situation, he just wanted to get rid of the house, and it was my break. So we enjoyed.
You always come back to Monmouth Junction, huh?
Pardon?
You always come back to Monmouth Junction?
Yeah, I always come back to Monmouth. This time we came back early to Monmouth Junction. My wife has a little problem with her eye. She's going to the doctor, getting treated. And I don't want somebody else, another doctor, do what he done, and this way they can't blame, well, So we've been running back and forth every 4 weeks. So we came back twice this year, and I decided, hell, the weather's been nice. I think we'll stay here this winter until we get this cleared up. So she's got to go back once a month, and the weather's been in my favor, so
Right.
I guess I've done a good
I
job.
think you brought the weather with you, Frank.
I must have brought the weather back. Yeah, that's what it was.
Now we know who to blame.
You can thank it.
Yes, yes.
I brought the weather back with me, and that's my whole life.
Well, we appreciate
Oh, you know what? I forgot to tell you. Oh, I told you about the potatoes. We worked on.
Right.
And we worked hard over there.
Now, you mentioned Little John. Now, who were your neighbors?
Little John, that was but the Coley's house. That was a house way down at the end next to Peter Face. It's tore down now. There was my grandfather's house, Peter Face's house, and Little John was at the end house. And that's where the accident happened, the train wreck. They tore it down because there was a lot of hobos living in it, and this and fires was in it. So I don't know if the township or somebody tore it down, and they abandoned it. So they never came out no more. They moved to Brooklyn, and we never heard from them no more. We don't know what happened to them.
So you kind of grew up with the Pietrafesses.
We grew up with the Peter Faces next door to us. My grandfather sold them half a lot there, half an acre, and they built a house there. And my grandmother and Mrs. Patterface were sisters. And when she...
What was her maiden name?
My grandmother? Trafficanta.
Okay. Another old Dean's family.
Yeah, related in Dean's, with old Dean's family in the Trafficanta and Dean's Lane, they used to be.
Did any of your relatives work on the railroad?
My grandfather worked there. He was a watchman on a crossing of Black Horse and Dean's crossing years ago.
You see that lamp up there, over here?
Yep.
That's his lantern.
That
He
was
used
his
to,
lantern.
Can
at the
you
watch, he was a
scan
watchman
it?
there at the crossing. And he,
My mother-in-law gave us that.
and when he retired, I was only about 8 years old. My mother and I used to go to the train, pick up the check, because they used to pay him by check, and you had to meet the train at Dean Station. The train wouldn't stop, but would just move along slow, and the paymaster, who he was from the railroad, would hand my mother the check and say, how's Papa? How's your grandfather? Okay, he's still alive, and they give us a check. That's what we lived on. Also, Mr. Emmons from Mama Junction,
Right.
he used to come deliver our supplies from us. My mother used to buy supplies from him. He used to come like on a Monday or Tuesday, and then return the order like on a Thursday. And he used to have the old Model T truck there. Then we used to deal with Mr. Werner, our oil bill from Dean's. And everything was on cuff, them days, you know. But I'll tell you, my grandfather, any one of them, he was well liked, and he always paid his bill. Winter months, he would put it up on, everything was built on a cuff. Then the summer months, we didn't use oil, we had his own garden, well then he could pay the bill. That's when he catch up, in the summer months. And that's how they lived. That's how we lived them days. And I went to work for Dyker there, picking potatoes. My pay was paying me with potatoes. We get 35 bags of potatoes. My grandfather said, boy, we got plenty to eat this winter. 35 bags of potatoes.
Yep.
So it was rough them there, but I tell you, I was not, I don't want to say, I was a pretty good boy with my family. I done all I could for them, you know. I helped out, I worked, I wasn't lazy. I didn't have a bicycle. I was wishing for a bicycle. I never had a bicycle. And I got a bicycle frame one time, and I got some wheels here and there. I made a bike. My mother had to beg her to buy me 2 tires. She bought me one, then a little later on she bought me another one. Well, I felt like a big wheel with a bicycle in it. And we enjoyed it though. Everything we done, we enjoyed. My sisters, we lived on a farm over there, nights, nothing to do. I built a little platform up further from the house by the company farm. They call it a company farm. And on a Saturday night, we used to have, my sister used to put lamps around, and we used to have a dance floor. We had the music with the radio, not the radio, the patroller, playing music, and then with the girls would dance. I was only a kid who used to watch them, you know. But I built a platform. I was a handy guy for a young guy. My sister said, Freddie, build us something we can dance on. We can't dance on it. And I would get wood over there, and, you know, and they were happy. They were good days, I'll tell you. They were good days.
Did you fish over in the Dean's Pond and all? And
I fished in Dean's Pond.
it was a nice pond years ago, right?
Yeah, it was nice. And Mr. Thurston used to chase us out. We got too close to that dam there. Get out of here, you know.
That's where the best fish were, right?
That's where the best fish was, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And then when that dam broke, I was really disappointed because that was nice fun. I made a rowboat. I made a rowboat. The first time we took it out, I said to my kids, I'm going to make a boat. I got some plywood and I made this rowboat. It was kind of heavy. I took my 3 grandchildren with me. Did you come on there?
No.
No. And we rowed once around. That thing was leaking water like that. I said, we had to go in before we drown here. It'll sink. And, well, I have good and bad, you know, but it's the way you make it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nobody don't give you nothing. You got to go out and get it.
Right.
And you hunted the deer?
Pardon?
You hunted the deer?
Yeah, let me get a shot at it.
Yeah, I got that deer. My last time I hunted, 1985, wasn't it? That's the last time I hunted, 1985. That's my last year I hunted. I said, well, I think I'm going to give it up. And that was my trophy.
And where did you get that?
I got that back of where they're putting these development in now. You know, just before you get out to 27, that on the right-hand side, that there was a little woods there.
Off Beekman Road?
Off of Beekman Road, on the right-hand side, there was a little patch of woods. He come out of that woods. There was a farm there, and I was in the middle of the field, that farm next to a post. And he come out with 3 does with him. He didn't expect to see me, I guess. But he was beautiful.
It's a beautiful deer.
Nice head.
Stella, anything you want to tell us? Or is he covered
Are
it
you
all?
happy with me?
I guess so.
Well, we want to thank you and wish you many more years of happiness,
Thank you, thank you.
health.
I hope I have a few more good years yet, and
Why don't you tell them how come you built this house?
how come I told him, didn't I tell him?
No, you didn't tell them why you built it. When somebody was making fun of you.
Oh, I gotta tell you this, this is a good one. I got a brother-in-law, he's a carpenter, by trade. He works big jobs. And on a Sunday, I used to have my wife always cook. We raised chickens here, and dinner to meet on a Sunday. We always had a big gang. She loved company. And that's how you get company. You got to feed them because they don't come back. If you don't feed them, they don't come back. I'm talking about the family. You got to feed them, then they would come back.
Right.
And every Sunday she would kill 3 or 4 chickens or make spaghetti. She's a good cook. And they loved it. They'd come down. So my brother-in-law, my 2 brother-in-laws, they never liked me. They never liked it. I don't know why. I don't know why. They just didn't like me because I was Italian or what it was. I don't know. And one day, they was in the house there. We having dinner. And I said to my wife, watch, I charge their battery up. Now watch what I'm going to do. I said, hon, you know, we got $20,000 in the bank. 20? Yeah. $20,000 in the bank. I says, hell, and they ain't doing nothing. Let's build a house. My brother-in-law almost fell off the chair laughing. You build a house? Oh, you build a house. My other brother-in-law said, $20,000? Why did it cost you that much for the electric and plumbing and all that? You can't build a house for 20. I said, I'll tell you what. I'm going to build a house. I'm going to prove to you guys I'm going to build it. And I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to do it. If I have to die doing it, I'm going to do it. Right, hon? I'm going to do it. And I said to my wife, boy, I'm going to do it if it's the last thing I do. It took me 3 years. I built it. I done all the work in here but the concrete work. I didn't do the concrete. It's too much for concrete. I put the windows in, I put the sheetrock, I put the heat in, I put the electric in, I put the furnace in. All myself. I put that wall up. I was working, and even that wall, worked Sundays, working night with a light. I built that wall. I was carrying stone from different jobs I worked on. They had sandstone. I would give the truck driver, I said, hey, I'd say to my boss, could I get some of that sandstone? Yeah, go ahead, Freddie. But I couldn't carry my pickup. I would give the truck drivers how much you want to take me a load of that stone on my house. We was working there in Monmouth County. Guy said, hey, Freddie, that's quite a ways. I got to get $75. I said, I get the operator, I said, tonight, on your time, load that truck up. And I said, I'll make it right with you. But all the operators, they wouldn't want no money. This truck guy says, I'll do it, Freddie, but I got to get $50. I said, okay, I'll give you $50. He would deliver me. I got three loads of stone from that job. And then after I got these big clinkers, they were big ones. So I got a hold of my boss. I said, you know what? I got to borrow your compressor some weekend and your jackhammer. I said, I got the stone. I said, how the hell am I going to break it? Freddie, take the compressor home with you and the jackhammer. Bring it back Monday morning. Go ahead. And that's what I did. I brought the compressor one weekend, bust them all up, brought it back. I got along good with all my bosses. I mean, I could have got anything off them because I done a good job for them.
Yeah, but you took good care of those motors, Frank.
And I took care of, yes. And every time they were, you know, I took care of them.
My brother-in-law never stepped foot in this house.
And you know what? My brother-in-law never come into this house yet. My one brother-in-law came in, he says, holy God, it looks like a church. First thing he said, it looks like a church. He criticized, you know. But my other brother-in-law, that's a carpenter, never came into this house. How many years that's been now? 14 years?
No, yeah, it's more than that. From 1977.
Yeah. And
Almost 20 years.
That's family, you know. They can't see you get along. They didn't like me because I was Italian. And they still don't like me. I don't care, hey. This woman here loves me, that's all that counts. And she'll do anything.
Right.
She'll stick with me. She tells them all.
Look what you've accomplished.
That's right.
That's right.
Beautiful family, yep, beautiful house.
And I got 3 nice children that they respect me. They're doing good, they're doing well in their jobs. My daughter Virginia in Pennsylvania, she works in the Scientist Press. She's a head sales lady. She started off, I gotta tell you that, she started off with a job to fill the application out. She didn't go to college. And she was so nervous that she failed. But she said to the boss, I know I can pass that test. can I do it again? The guy said, yeah, go ahead, do it again. Take your time. No, you know. I said to her, you know what? I'm going to hire you because you're so willing to work. I'm going to hire you. You know, he hired. She worked herself up from the bottom. Today she's up. She's a head sales lady, and she goes out with these other salespeople, sells books and so forth. She got a good job, and she worked her way. And she's great. My other girl Arlene, she works at Squibbs.
No, Carter Wallace.
Carter Wallace. She's in charge of the bookkeeping. She's a head secretary there as a bookkeeper. And she's got a good job. Joycey, she's the youngest one. She's into catering. She does catering. And she just started 2 years ago, this catering, and she's doing a good job. She's getting customers back and forth. They want her because she's a good cook. So I'm proud of my kids. They've done a good job.
Right.
Should be.
Right. Excellent.
Well,
They got a good pop, though.
Right, darn right. Got a good mom, right? Yep.
Come from good stock.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Fred.
You're welcome. Thank you.